When you ask your question, please make sure you get a microphone from one of our two attendants here who will hand over the wireless microphone so that the audio makes it into the system. They can come on up, have a seat. Yep. Your names are up here, so obviously sit behind your name. Yep, got it. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, once again, we will take questions from the folks here in person first. We'll ask you to use a microphone, and we'll ask you to identify yourself and make sure to let us know which player you're asking a question of. So with that, if there's anybody with a question for these three fellows, let us know.
Kevin Lytle, Fort Collins, Colorado. And Jalen, start with you. Third time at an NCAA tournament. I think in CSU history there's only been one other time that in 4 years there's been 3 tournaments. What does it mean to you to be part of that kind of historic run at CSU?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's awesome. Just obviously, I've been a part of some really good teams and been a part of the great cultures at CSU. So it's an honor to be able to be back here for the third time. So it means a lot.
Unique for you as well. Obviously, been to a few of these. Was this one in particular feel like, when you didn't know for sure that you'd come back this year and then to help lead the team to this spot?
It's definitely a blessing, surreal being back here. This is your childhood dreams that you grow up working for, and so it's always cool to be a part of this tournament in particular, and just to be playing in general at this time of year is always something that you got to be grateful for, and so we're just excited to get this thing rolling.
Kai, and for you, obviously you're on a team last year, but different, bigger role this year's. Kind of what's the feeling? What does it mean to you to be part of this?
It's just big time, just kind of like off of what they said. It's just a blessing to be back here. And then, we were first round exit last year, so we're ready to try and put some wins together this year.
Questions?
Parth Tapadia, the Daily Memphian. Question for all y'all. There was a time in this season where you guys didn't have the resume to even make the NCAA tournament, and now, having stamped your ticket, folks are calling y'all the trendiest 12 seed to make a run and penciling y'all in Sweet 16, Elite 8, whatever it may be. How does that feel to have earned that respect, and how do you kind of balance the highs and lows, if that makes sense, as you face Memphis?
Yeah, I mean, I think we just have showed so much growth and resilience throughout the whole year. Like you said, a lot of people didn't believe us because we didn't have the resume, obviously, in the non-conference. But, we really took that to heart, and we showed a lot of growth just throughout the conference. And we got a lot better. So, I mean, it's obviously a blessing to be back here, so we want to keep things rolling.
Up front.
Lindsay Schnall, The Athletic. I wondered if you guys fill out brackets as a team. Just obviously you can't bet, but like playing for pride, and if so, did you pick any other upsets besides you guys, making a deep run?
I mean, I didn't. I don't think most of us picked a bracket. Usually, when you're not playing in the tournament, that's when you pick the brackets. But I feel like some of the guys may have made a bracket just to have some fun and pick some certain thing. But I don't think any of us three made a bracket this year.
For any of you guys, just what jumps out about Memphis of kind of keys to their game and what you need to do to try and disrupt them?
I think, they're definitely a really good team, highly coached, of course. Penny is a legend, and so for us, I think it's just sticking to what we do, making sure our game plan is sharp, making sure we're focused, they got two really good players over there, all American type guys, and so I think for us it's just making sure we're locked in and on the game plan on them, and then making sure we shut their other guys down, and then offensively just doing what we do.
Anyone else here in person? Go ahead.
Question for Nick Clifford, Parth Tapadia, Daily Memphian again. A lot's been made about kind of you and PJ Haggerty, right, being two of the best players in the country. Do you look at this stage and this opportunity as a chance to maybe square off against him and prove yourself against somebody who was a consensus All-American?
I mean, I don't really look at it like that. You know, for me, I'm just focused on my team and winning. You know, I think those type of things play themselves out, and you know, the team that wins, that's usually going to be the player that they consider better in that sense. But you know, I'm just focused on getting better today, making sure that we are locked in on our game plan and ready to go. But yeah, it's definitely cool to get those type of recognitions, and he's a hell of a player, and so we're excited to have that matchup, and definitely excited for that.
Anyone else here in person? Yep.
I guess question for Nick and both of y'all as well. What have y'all seen when you watch Memphis on film, especially from PJ? What have you learned about his game? Things that you didn't know, things that you knew, all of it.
I would just say he's just a super aggressive guy. He's gonna be aggressive for 40 minutes. We know he's a high level scorer, and he's got some dudes around him to make him even better. So we just know we got to do a good job on him early.
All right. Any more questions in person? I'm not seeing any hands raised in the Zoom. If anybody has a question from the Zoom, there's one from Tony Keith. All right. Tony, go ahead.
This question's for Neek. This is Tony Keith at News 5 in Colorado Springs. You got fans all over Colorado. I mean, Vanguard, CU, CSU. I want to know, what's your message to the young fans who have followed you your whole career? They want to follow in your footsteps about, once again, being on this stage at this level.
Yeah, first off, shout out Colorado Springs. Yeah, it's pretty cool to be on this stage, to play at the highest level and just inspire the younger generation, kids that look up to me and my teammates. And so just to keep pushing, I feel like my advice would just be, don't let nobody tell you what you can and can't do. If you see the vision yourself, you just gotta grind every single day, put your head down, work, believe in yourself, and you know, the sky's the limit.
All right. Any other questions from here in person or on the Zoom? All right. Seeing none, we'll say thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Appreciate
Good luck.
Thank you.
We'll be back with the coach here in just a few minutes. Coach can come whenever he likes. He can wait till 10:35, or he can get going as soon as he wants. Yeah. All right, just as an alert for the folks on the Zoom, we'll be getting started with Coach Medved here in just a moment as he takes his seat. Coach will ask you for an opening statement, and then we'll open it up to questions here in person and then from the Zoom if there are any.
Great.
So go ahead.
Excited to be here. That's an understatement. I know I'm biased, but I think this is the greatest sporting event on earth. It's what everybody in our business, players, coaches, dream of being a part of. We've been fortunate to be here, 3 of the last 4 years. They're all really rewarding. This one's incredibly special. I mean, just thinking about what our guys have gone through to get here. The best teams in the country are here for a reason, and we've always stepped up to the challenge. We're really looking forward to the challenge tomorrow against Memphis.
All right, we'll open up for questions here in person. Again, please ask for a microphone and then identify yourself. Thank you.
Kevin Lytle, Fort Collins, Colorado, and Nico, like you say, 3rd in 4 years. Do you have kind of ritual or anything you like to do with these, or memento, anything that you kind of do to commemorate being at these?
I think it's a balance, like I told the team of. I really want them to enjoy the moment. This is really, really special. And, every one of these guys has their own unique story and journey and, dreamed of being at this point. And, families travel long distances to come here. I want them to take that all in and enjoy it. And then it's that balance between that and then understanding at the end of the day, it's a basketball game, right? And there's certain things that you've done, to allow yourself to be at this point. And how are you able to walk the line between both and allow them to have those moments? And then when it's time to lock in and be ready to go. And so I think, as you've had a little bit more experience being in these situations, hopefully it helps you navigate that, a little bit better for your guys. But, man, I want them to look around a little bit and say, man, this is the NCAA tournament. This is great. And then be ready to kind of, hey, now we've got to play basketball.
Are you able to kind of read how they're kind of balancing those, or is that a thing you don't 100% know for sure until 11 o'clock tomorrow?
Well, great point. I guess the only data I have is how they've managed this whole season and how they just managed the Mountain West tournament and have done a phenomenal job, in my opinion, of shutting out whatever talk is out there of anything and have just really focused on the moment. And so it would give me confidence to say that we have data that we've just played in a lot of big games and situations that way, and they've handled it so beautifully. So I have no reason to believe that they won't do it tomorrow. But, man, as good as your last game, we got to go do it tomorrow at 11.
Liv Sewell, CSU Rams. Over the last couple of weeks, CSU has taken on an image of, look out for CSU, they might bust your bracket. Why do you think that is, that people are saying that?
I don't know. Probably because, we've been playing really well lately, people weren't talking about the Rams earlier, and now more people are talking about the Rams nationally, and, so that kind of a thing. But I think it's really important to understand is that, what's allowed us to be successful is we tuned out all that early when people were saying the other thing, and we didn't focus on, net rankings, bubble, any of that stuff. We just focus on ourselves. And I think now as the narrative turns and people want to say the other, don't listen to that either. You know what I mean? That doesn't matter who's picked us to win maybe tomorrow or all that stuff like that. None of that stuff matters at all, right? And I think that because we've done such a really good job of tuning that out, that allows us to focus on what's in front of us.
Hey, Coach, Parthapathia, Daily Memphian. Speaking of tuning out the outside noise, we talked to Nick Clifford just a few minutes ago about kind of the hype of the matchup between him and PJ Haggerty, 2 of the best players in college basketball in the country. And I asked him if he has a chip on his shoulder to prove himself, and he kind of deferred and said it's not about that. Is that just who Nick is, or do you see him have some kind of fire in him in this moment when the lights are bright against a guy like PJ Haggerty across the way?
Both. Neek is exactly that. He's just an amazing human being, an amazing team guy, and all that stuff like that. I know Neek's not thinking about, hey, it's me and PJ Haggerty. It's the Rams versus the Memphis Tigers. And so, he knows the lights are bright tomorrow, but the lights have been bright for him, you know what I mean, for a while. And so, no, I don't think he gets into any of that. I mean, PJ's a tremendous player. Memphis is a tremendous team all the way around. But no, it's not about that at all. It's about him just doing the things that he needs to do as an individual to help our team be successful. And I think that's what he means by that is just, no, I'm not. The worst thing you could do is try to get into that kind of a game. And because he hasn't, this season, I think that's really helped us.
Coach Tim Buckley, also with the Daily Memphian. With Memphis's uncertain point guard situation with the Hunter and Harris injuries, how does that impact your scout and your prep? And does it complicate it exponentially, or do you just handle it like usual?
I mean, of course, it's always easier to know 100%, who's going to play and who's not going to play. But I don't think it changes it a lot. I mean, Coach Hardaway does such a great job with his guys, and obviously, whether they play or don't play, impacts them. But it really, I mean, I got a lot of really good players. They really guard you. They make it difficult to figure out what they're doing. So we haven't focused a ton on that. I mean, our guys, we played Hunter last year in the NCAA tournament at Texas. So, we've played him. We have a familiarity with his game. But no, I don't think it's changed it a bunch for us.
Anything else here in person? All right, is anyone on the Zoom that has a question for Coach? You can raise your hand in the Zoom. Seeing one from Tony Keith. Tony, you're unmuted. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Coach. Tony Keith with News 5 in Colorado Springs. Not your first dance. Obviously, the lights a lot brighter, the cameras, a lot of attention. What do you have to say about your senior players on this team, getting them ready for the big stage? Obviously, it's the coach's job to do that, but are there any players stepping up to help those younger guys get set to go out there in front of millions of people?
This will be Ethan Morton's 5th straight NCAA tournament. Guy on our team, Jalen Lake, who this will be his 3rd. This will be Neek Clifford's 3rd. Our other young guys last year played in it. And I don't think it's talking about it so much. It's just, the way that those guys go about their business and, how they'll handle today, how they'll handle practice, how they handled the whole season of, again, striking that balance between really taking the time to enjoy it and understand the accomplishment of being in this tournament, but then being able to flip the switch and, realize we have a basketball game to play. So we've got several veteran guys, I think who will help with that.
Any additional questions from in person or on the Zoom, please? All right, seeing none, we'll say thank you very much, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
We'll be back at 11:05 for the Memphis players.